Oh shit! I was going to tell you something backstage. I forgot to. That I don't want to say on the air. Let me write it down so I don't forget.
Well,
Uh,
we are live while you're writing it down, so I'll kick off the
it's all
show.
right, ladies and
Welcome
gentlemen.
to the Left
Go
Wing.
ahead.
Yeah, I'm doing
Go.
it, Jay. Screw you. You couldn't even be bothered to complete the show on Tuesday, so I'm kicking it off today. Welcome to another great episode of the Left Wing Pod. I am your primary host, John Cooper, joined here by a host that only does the show when his voice is feeling like it, TJ Whitehead. How you doing, TJ?
I'm doing great, John. I've got a trusty jar of cough drops here. I listen on Tuesday, man. I wanted to finish it so bad because I was so excited to talk about that WNBA shit, but as I was talking, it was just getting worse and worse. I felt bad for everyone listening to me, and I felt like shit. It was terrible. So I said, man. And we were like 10 minutes into the show. I thought, there's no way I can do another 50 minutes of this without killing myself. I'm actually glad I didn't because my voice still doesn't sound great now, but I can talk. But man, yesterday and the day before, I was sick as a dog. Well, kind of sick, but my throat was, it's like I had laryngitis or something. I have no idea what happened. I felt like I had been screaming for hours and my voice was just raw, you know? But yeah, it's better. It is good to go. How you been?
I've been good. I'm looking forward to this episode because we have a lot of things I want to
Holy
talk
shit,
about.
man.
We need to finish our conversation about the WNBA because we're very excited to talk about that. We definitely need to talk about the the 9-month deployment that is getting Navy sailors to jump off the ship in hopes of a better life that Trump refuses to call home. We need to talk about Carolyn Levitt and her leaving because Trump left her to die. It's just a wonderful assortment of stories that we have today. But Colby does bring up one to start about because he asked us a question. Favorite East Coast Latina congressman who's recently single and John's type. And I do have to say, Colby,
John's type.
I'll be moving to New York and setting up in her district like one of Penelope's fucking suitors. I already told my wife that I got to be the next first man of the United States, and this is my opportunity. So we're doing it.
You'd be the first man in the United States, John. That's good. Moving up like Penelope Suitors. I forgot that. Well, I want to comment on this before I forget. AOC single. That's good. Just a good banter to start out. But Colby here saying favorite co-host who had to end Tuesday's show early over complaints of swallowing. Very good. Mark also coming in. Mark also coming in strong. TJ should always feel bad for those listening to him. That's good, Mark. That's good right there. Fantastic. I commend you guys. Like my tip my cap. And AD and ML says, hello, can I please get a shout out? Thanks for watching the show, AD and ML. Do we know you? Like, are these people we know?
I don't recognize AD and ML, but hey, if anyone wants a shout out, all you have to do is ask. We are very easy to please here. So yeah, if you ever want to shout on this show, just ask for the comments, and we will probably give it to you.
With AOC being single now, I've seen, of course, everyone's thirsting over and talking about AOC being single and showing like clips of her doing her Instagram lives and everything. She's like all flirty, like, hey, don't be weird. Don't be weird. It's like, oh, I think she wants me to be weird. I know that voice right there. Like, I know that voice. Like, this is Bill Burr has a great bit about how no does not always mean no. And like, if a girl tells you no, stop it. That's a no. It's like, no, stop it. That's not a no. That's not a fucking no. And you know it. You know that is not a fucking no. Don't pretend it's not. And ADML says, my brother is going into the Air Force. I do got to say, so my dad was in the Army. So I always knew I wanted to join the Army as a kid. Always knew. And I always thought, it's like, even my dad wasn't in the Army. If I'm joining the military, man, it's going to be the Army or the Marines. But it was always going to be the Army. It was not going to be the fucking Air Force. You kidding me? I'm not joining the Air Force. No, I'm joining the Army because I want to be in the military, right? The Air Force, like, sure, they're in the military, right? But yeah, we don't give them the same respect. Same with the Navy, that, and I would never want to be in the water. F that. But now, as an older man, if you're going to join the military, join the Air Force. Okay? That is the smart move. Everyone gets paid the same. You don't get paid more to be in the Air Force, but your accommodations will be better. Your chain of command will make more sense. The promotions make more sense. It's treated more like a normal business instead of, an insane group of grunts and all that shit. So hats off to your brother. Hope he does well in the good old U.S. Air Force, which was originally part of the Army. Just want to throw that out there.
That's great. I was always like, not that I ever thought I'll join the military, but like if I was asked the question which branch I would join, I'd always say the Air Force because that just seemed the obvious best branch of the military to be in. Unless you're a fighter pilot, you're probably not going to be in the active line of fire, and you can probably have a pretty cushy email job within the military, most likely in the fucking Air Force. So yeah, that would be my choice too. But going back to AOC. You're 100% right. She's leaning into it. In fact, it's weird.
Man,
I saw a report come out that they've actually been split for like 2 years now.
I did too. I saw that too. Yeah,
which makes it extremely interesting that she would choose this point in time to make it publicly official when she is ramping up for her presidential run, which I think like maybe a year ago we were at maybe, and now it's like just very obvious she's going to do it. I don't know. Like, what do you think? It's a calculated political move, or do you think there was like a story was going to come out about it, so she just jumped ahead of it?
Yeah, I have no clue at all. I remember seeing like early this week or last week that AOC and her boyfriend had a fiance, I guess, had called it quits. And I was surprised by that because they've been together for a really long time, like a decade or more.
Yeah, I'm pretty
and
sure
I said, yeah, I was kind of surprised. I said, oh wow, that doesn't usually happen like that. So I was like, okay, she's single. And then I see people talking about, oh yeah, she's going to be running for president and everything. I have no clue. I don't know who leaked it. I don't know how they kept it secret for 2 years, honestly. That's actually the most surprising thing about this, that she travels all the time. And she had been in Congress for a while. And then 2 years later, 2 years ago, this guy just, I assume, stopped showing up and no one questioned it. Thought that was weird. I don't know. I can't. Jesus Christ. What have you done, John? You do the shout out, man. You put it out there. I'm not gonna.
So, Jet Saha, you can get a shout out. Shout out to you. I see all your highs. Thank you very much. And I'm gonna call you Adam because your name looks like Adam. John, you have a dog cat. That is a dog behind me right there. Cats don't destroy shit like she's currently destroying that. Her name is Nala, though. She's named after a cat in the Lion King. And also, my name is spelled correctly right there on the screen, just to let everyone know in case you want to check it out in the comments.
I knew a guy named Jonathan, and I asked him once, hey, is your name Jonathan with an H or without an H? And he says it's with an H because Jonathan without an H is Joe Nathan, and that's not who I am. I was like, oh, I like that. I like that was pretty good. I didn't know there was this beef between the H Johns and the no H Johns. I was open up to a brand new world.
I thought he was going to say, give you a smart ass answer like all Jonathans have an H. That's what the sound comes from.
That would be good. That would be good. Oh, and Colby says, and public announcement of egg freezing. Yeah. So this is what weirds me out about this. That to me, announcing that you're single doesn't help you if you're running for president. I don't think it does. Right? Am I misreading that? Because I don't think that makes her more electable. I think it makes her less electable.
Well, TJ, I see. There's many different ways to play. This is very exciting for political talk because it's one of those rare things that absolutely does not fucking matter, but also kind of does matter if we're being totally honest about it. And it's just fun little gossip. Like we're like an entertainment news podcast here, right? And here's the thing. You're right. That was my first thought. Like it wouldn't necessarily benefit. Now, we always say that about a man. That is a thing.
Right,
we always say that about a man. A man needs to have a family and be married. A woman, I mean, we've tried that twice. It hasn't worked two times in a row. Maybe she's switching it up, or maybe, TJ, here's the very exciting and scintillating bit. In order to get a better political marriage, you need to dump your ginger that nobody knows about first. Mm-hmm. And so maybe there is a political... Justin Trudeau is testing out the let's date a pop star thing. What if AOC already has someone lined up to be whatever she thinks is going to help her out in the chase of the presidency? I don't know, TJ. it could be interesting. This could be a very, very exciting little storyline for us to follow.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
It could be some small scale, YouTube podcaster who goes live every Thursday. Just say it could be. It could. Who knows? Anything could happen.
Mark says, I think AOC will break most standards when it comes to running. That's true. AOC is uncharted territory for a politician of that status. And I do like your idea of the power couple thing, John, because this guy, first off, I had a lot of respect for this guy because, one, it must be tough as a man to be married to a super powerful woman like that. It's got to be hard. I mean, it'd be tough for a woman to marry a super powerful man, but with the dynamic flip like that and the way we view gender roles in society, the most progressive guy in the country would have like a difficult time with that. So I respected him. I don't even know his name. Like taking a back seat and just letting her do her thing and supporting her career. Love that for him. And that character quality that he had kind of made me push down to the cellar of my brain. I don't know if resentment's the right word, because it's not like I knew AOC and had a shot with her or anything like that. But that fucking guy is with AOC. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? AOC would be like one of the best looking girls on campus, no matter where she went to school. And that's the guy she ended up with? That seems unfair, right? Like, it doesn't seem right. And I remember, I don't know when I first saw this dude, but I thought, all right, AOC, you can do better than this. Maybe it took her 10 years to figure this out. It might just be as simple as that, where she's like, wow, I really sold myself short with this guy here. I could have bagged a much better dude. And maybe the shame of dropping him is why she hid it for 2 years. I don't know. Like you said, John, spider web of gossip here you could go on. No evidence for any of it, but it could be pretty fun.
It is a lot of. I thought the same thing, TJ. Like that fucking guy. Are you serious?
Guy.
And I do think that, like, how do I put this? I would be very okay with. Obviously, I'd be very okay dating AOC, dating a powerful woman, all that. I would not be able to just shut up and stand in the background.
No chance. No chance.
No fucking chance. Now, am I totally fine with that relationship dynamic? Yes, but like, I'm gonna make it about me at some point, and that's why I would be bad at this unless you want someone who isn't going. Maybe she dumped him because she wants someone who's going to, be a little bit more forward facing and, help her out. And if that's the case, I do think Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez Cooper Paz has a certain ring to it. He's 16p.
Colby, I'm so mad I didn't think of that joke first. I am so mad. God, that's good. So mad I didn't think about that first. That's great.
That's so good.
That's great. That's great. No, but John, it's like I agree because like I was upset with his blown opportunity first of fumbling AOC, man. That you're never gonna recover from that. Like, no matter who you get with next, it's no shot it's living up to fucking AOC. And then second, I hadn't thought about that part until recently, that he fumbled an opportunity to like do something like of major like political merit once, and I have a hard time buying AOC would be with someone who wasn't super politically active. That does not compute to me. Maybe she was, maybe he just didn't really care much, and maybe he's kind of a meek, quiet guy, doesn't like to talk. I don't know, but I just like, man, if like my girlfriend was one of the top 5 most popular politicians in the last decade, you would not stop seeing my face. I would let her, of course, I wouldn't try to block her spotlight or anything, but man, I'm making use of this and trying to do something. Nothing. I once again don't even know the guy's fucking name, man. I've seen it like a dozen times this last week. I couldn't tell you what it was.
He's just that ginger dude. Like I have also seen his name multiple times. Could not be bothered to remember it. It's fun. What do you think of AOC? Because I have money on her to win the Democratic nomination. I think she's going to. I think she's going to be the next president of the United States. Like that's what, like, if I'm going to put money on the next president of the United States, it is AOC, and it's not particularly close in my mind.
Before
I'm not
I answer
saying
that
she's beating the field, but in terms of single most likely, it's her.
Riley Roberts, Hugh Jass says is his name. What a boring ass name. How does Riley Roberts end up with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? Hold on one second. Stall for them, John. Give me 1 second. There's something out here. Hold on. Sorry.
No, go ahead. TJ's girlfriend is saying, "Hey, stop being thirsty over AOC on live." But no, it is one thing we're talking, and we're talking last week about I forget her first name, Francesca Hong. That I could be wrong about the first name. But who was running for Congress in Wisconsin, and she lost that race. And something I said about her is that if you live in these circles like me and TJ do, you've definitely met people in left-wing circles like her who are as annoying as shit, incredibly militantly left-leaning. They're always playing to the win points and win currency just within the far left base. And that makes them very difficult to get along with for people who are a little bit more forward-minded like TJ and myself. Fun fact, those people also tend to fucking hate AOC because AOC doesn't do that. Francesca Hong, okay, thank you, Colby. Thank you. But AOC doesn't do that. She's actually very charismatic. Like she's not just that she is the Cinderella story coming from rags to riches, being a waitress, running a grassroots campaign, being really the first grassroots progressive campaign to get into Congress. She was then able to build power and influence within Congress without doing anything rash, without like really trying to jump in and take power for herself, just kind of playing the game the right way and building power and influence over time. And now she has set herself up absolutely perfectly to be the next Democratic candidate at a time where, again, if all things go according to the direction we see the midterms heading in, generic Democrats probably going to be like fucking plus 10 on the generic ballot come 2028. And so whoever wins that Democratic nomination, it's not necessarily a lock, but you got to think they're going to be favored. If you're going to be betting on what the outcome is, you're going to be given additional points to the Republicans because they're so far behind right now in the midterm. So that's why I think AOC has the most influence within the party, has the most ability to energize the base, will capture this anti-establishment trend going through the primaries right now. Not that every anti-establishment candidate is winning, but many are. And the thing about anti-establishment candidates is they're supposed to lose. They're supposed to be massive upsets. And now the establishment is parading around a slight marginal victory over Francesca Hong as like, oh, we still got it, guys. Like, no, that's not how you're supposed to mollywop Francesca Hong. You're not supposed to be in a tight race with her. You're not supposed to be losing to a guy named Abdul El Sayed under any fucking circumstances. And yet here we are. This is the wave. That is the wave that is winning. AOC is the most prominent politician as associated with that wave, who, by the way, was smart enough not to endorse Francesca Hong. And yeah, she's going to be the next president of the United States. And yeah, if you want me to be the first man, put my hat in the ring, AOC. I believe we all are.
All right. Wait, is my mic still on? Okay. Sorry, John. So Mark here says, I'll take both those bets, John, any day and all day long. And I agree with Mark, John. I would not bet on AOC to win either of them, actually. I'd be more surprised if she won the general than the primary. And I just don't believe the Democrats are going to nominate 3 women in a row. I just don't. I don't. I think that when Kamala was running last time, I cannot tell you how many normies I talked to who said, I just don't know, man. I don't know if America is going to. And I said, oh, that's ridiculous. They were fucking right. They were right. Now, her being a woman may not be the primary reason she lost. But, people are pattern recognizing machines and like, oh yeah, I think they're going to nominate the straightest, whitest man they can find. And when it comes to the general, I just don't know. Maybe like 4 years from now, she'd have a stronger chance in my. Although, Mark, I got to say, Mark, you're pretty confident on this bet when, what is it, August, September, October, 3 months, Mark. 3 months. I have not forgotten. I have not forgotten your bet that the Strait of Hormuz would be open by, I think, November 6th. And it's not looking too good for you, buddy. It's not looking good. I gotta say, it is not looking good. So yeah, I may join you with this one, but just know we're not friends on the betting. So yeah, John, I just don't know. AOC, her star power is huge, but I think that it has some limitations, especially with men. This is the problem with society and our views of young women, specifically young attractive women. Years and years ago, back in the Facebook days, before I was making any social media content, I would see the same post you've seen, John, where people says, "Can you believe this stupid bitch AOC? She said Puerto Rico became a colony in 1891. It was 1888. What a fucking moron!" You see shit like that all the time, and they said the narrative is that AOC is stupid. She's dumb. She's an airhead. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And I would talk to people I knew who were conservatives, my conservative friends at the time, and I said, "Listen, none of you here have ever called me stupid, and I don't think I've said anything different than AOC has said. I mean, if there's no way that you think she's a moron and I'm smart. That cannot be true unless there's another reason you're calling her a moron. And it's that she was a 30-year-old woman and she looks and sounds like a 30-year-old woman, which is a demographic people don't take that seriously. So I just don't think that's changed a lot because that just doesn't apply to, Republicans. I think it applies to a lot of Democrats too. So I know she's popular, but I am not sold on her mopping the floor or winning convincingly. I'm just not.
So
I hope I'm wrong,
said,
but
I'm not taking her against. I'm not even close to taking her against the field or anything. I think of, a field of 10 candidates who are going to be potentials for the nomination. She's the leader with a 12%, chance of victory, if that makes sense. It's pretty close. Maybe 15. I probably didn't do the math right there. I do agree with you. Her biggest weakness, besides what you just said, is the combination. Her voice sounds dumb. I don't even think it's necessarily just that she's a woman. Doesn't help, but she sounds kind of like a sorority girl. She just, the way she talks does not sound presidential. How much that matters, I am not sure. After 4 years of Donald Trump, I believe that she will sound very intelligent. And it does depend on who she's running against. Because I will take people assuming that AOC is dumb because of the way she looks and sounds against JD Vance being an obvious creep with zero charisma any fucking day of the week. And twice on Sunday. It really depends on what the parallel is that we are driving. But as I said, we will see. I think that AOC is at the top of the bracket for winning the Democratic nomination, and I think Democrats will win in 2028. Generic ballot, again, I'd put it plus 10 on the Democrat side. So, again, I think that the smart money is on that. Mark, I'm not going to do a bet now because it would be impossible to put odds on at this point. Keep watching this show, and we will definitely be putting. I do have money on this on Cauchy. For those who are interested, and I'll probably put my winnings from Todd Blanche. Just pound that on AOC. Keep it riding. Thank you, Congress, for passing Todd Blanche, like I told you to. But any other thoughts on AOC before we move on to some other topics here?
No, none. I just the voice is true. I don't know. It's tricky for women to get in that narrow line. I'm trying to think of a woman who isn't old, who sounds authoritative and presidential, that people take seriously. And it's a short list. I can't even think of anyone, honestly. I can't. It's difficult to do. It's difficult for most men to do too, but we're used to associating power and resonance and a deep tone quality with competence, and women aren't just not going to have that. And if they do, they're going to seem less feminine, which turns people off. So it's a tricky position. Now, it doesn't need to be that way, but that's the way we are in the country now. We're just kind of behind on our female leadership.
Yeah, We will see. Mark says to write it down that JD Vance will not be the Republican candidate. I'm fine with that, Mark. I don't necessarily disagree with you. I just don't know who the fuck it's going to be. Like on the Republican side, I have no fucking clue. I can't even put a. I just said JD Vance because he's the VP right now, but honestly, zero idea. We might not know the name of the next Republican nominee for the president of the United States right now on August 13th, 2026. They might be an unknown fucking quantity right now, and that's how crazy it's going to get once Trump is stepping down, question mark? I don't fucking know.
I've seen reporters ask Trump multiple times who he thinks should run in 2026, and every time he says, "Oh, I don't know. You know, we'll see what happens. We got two really good guys that I know, but it could be something else. Who knows?" And God, I hope Trump is. I've been saying for a long time that Trump is going to outlive us all. He's going to die at 110 years old. I hit my knees every night and pray to God that Trump does not die before 2028, because I want to see how the Republican Party navigates Trump not running again and having to have someone run in his stead that Trump also supports without being a petty bitch and torpedoing them. You think he's going to he refuses to endorse his own VP. I don't think he will. I don't think that he thinks anyone is capable of replacing him. I can't wait to see this man. Trump, you got to hold on for me, man. You've got to hold on for these couple of years, because I got to see that happening. Okay, real quick, John, I wanted to point out a very strange comment. I don't know if you saw it or if you ignored it on purpose, because this Colby says, "Can John flex for the camera, or would he rip his shirt off? Would his shirt rip off his body? Let's just see it either way." He said he's been working out. Colby, what the fuck? I don't know where that came from. I mean, he said he's been working out, but like, I don't know.
I'm wearing a very baggy shirt right now. It's not even like a tight shirt. I have been working out. Thank you for noticing, Colby. But
is Colby into dudes? Do we know that? I knew Kyle was. I didn't think Colby was.
Colby, tell us if you want to, if you're into dudes. He's into us. We know he's into us.
He's into us.
He tips the fuck out of us. I don't know if he's into dudes in general.
John will send you some DMs after the show with images.
Subscribe to our Patreon, and then we'll
subscribe to our Patreon. That's what we should have been doing this whole time. Okay. Oh God. Oh man. There's so much I want to talk about. We keep getting sidetracked, but
so many good comments too.
They are. I can't be mad.
A couple of comments and then segue.
Sure.
Them to segue. So first of all, AOC with a portable voice changer would be well received. AOC with James Earl Jones's voice would be unstoppable, in my opinion. Huge ass. As much as that is a joke, it is entirely correct. Like, you change AOC's voice, and she's exponentially better candidate. It is her biggest weakness by a large margin. I don't know how she can do it, but we will find out. There's another one. Huge ass also said Mitch McConnell 28. Tucker Carlson. That is the pick of our show.
God, I hope not. But
Tucker Carlson is our pick for the Republican presidency. And Adam's back. So thank you, Adam, for saying you're back. I'm upset that you left, but I'm glad that you came back. And Mark says Rubio. Write it down. Now here's the thing. That's on paper not a terrible bet, Mark. It's not a terrible bet. You'd have to put him in, your short list of candidates right now. The thing is, Marco Rubio cannot be the president of the United States. Marco Rubio is the most spineless fucking coward in the history of the world. And that's even if he makes it to 2028 and doesn't get shot down on a decoy plane that President Trump abandoned him on. TJ, did you hear this? We didn't talk about the story when it first came out, but now that it like officially came out, and Caroline Leavitt seems to have probably left because of it, we got to talk about it.
Yeah, I saw the story a couple days ago that there was I guess some threat supposedly, maybe Israel lied to Trump about the Iranians again, an assassination attempt, And the story that I saw first was that Trump was snuck away in like a food cart to a
Mhm.
Turkish plane that flew back, and then they had Air Force One fly away. But they didn't tell any of the staff on the plane. They didn't tell any of the press corps, including Caroline Levitt. So these people were sitting ducks. If the Iranians had actually tried to attack the plane, it would have killed dozens of people who had no idea that they were under a target and a threat. And when they asked Trump about it, they said, "Hey, man, how about what's up with you not telling people that there was a target on your plane and that's why you didn't ride on?" He says, "Well, I don't know. If you think about it, the plane that was in the most danger was the one I was on because I was the one they were looking for." And said, "If that was the case, you wouldn't have ridden on the plane, man. Like that, the whole reason that you rode on that plane was because it was less of a target." We just let him get away with saying that shit. Now, Caroline Levitt resigned suspiciously like 24, 48 hours later after she was on that target a plane. I don't know if it's related, but it does. I admit it does seem a little bit fishy.
This is one of those like stories where like every sentence of the article gets funnier and funnier because first the intelligence was not from us. It was the CIA said it wasn't very credible, but it came from Israel. Israel told Donald Trump that Iran was planning to assassinate them. And the CIA was like, "I don't know about that, bro. That seems very suspicious." So this all happened probably because Israel just lied to him and said Iran is trying to kill you in an effort to continue to instigate this war. And then Trump took it seriously. Here's the part, the hidden part that a lot of people, I don't see it in all the stories. They were originally on the Qatar plane, TJ. They were planning to use the Qatar Air Force One plane that was gifted to Trump, but then decided not to because of the threat, because apparently that plane doesn't have up-to-date missile defense systems on it.
Oh, I didn't read that. I didn't read that.
Yep,
Huh.
yep. And so they moved everyone to the old Air Force One, which apparently they just travel with a backup plane. Apparently, they just have two Air Force One planes that they travel with at all times. So they moved everyone to that plane instead. And then Donald Trump snuck out of that plane on the notorious food truck cart and went on a military aircraft, which landed at the same airport where he snuck back onto the plane to exit with everyone else as to like pretend that no one would notice. That is such an insane story. Like, we talk about this a lot, TJ, of how like Donald Trump is the least masculine man that you could possibly say is like the red meat and potatoes leader of men. Like he fucking wears makeup. He's incredibly vain. He's obviously not tough. All these things. To just abandon everyone and skedaddle on, that is like children's movie villain level of fucking morality here. Like the least manly, strong thing you can do is abandon all of your friends and allies, use them as a decoy at the slightest threat. Again, your own intelligence community is telling you it's not even a threat, but you're going to go off running anyway and use everyone else as a decoy. It is the most cowardly fucking move that you could possibly make. And it just continues to blow my mind that these you've got to bring manliness back to America types of people are like, this is my fucking guy. This fat, overweight, vain piece of shit who's a coward is going to be my guy, my pick. I don't get it, TJ. It's insane.
It is. My Mark wrote that John said to pretend that no one would notice, but no one did notice. Well, how did we find out? How did we find out?
Good one, Mark. How do we know this happened?
I mean, I don't think Trump just like told us. I think I don't know. I bet
something he would do. To be fair, TJ, he would let it slip, but he didn't in this case.
He just randomly started talking about what it looked like on the inside of a Turkish food cart. They're like, "What? Wait a minute. What? How would he know that? Oh, wait a minute. Remember that cart that left the plane and went to the other plane? I bet he was on it. Yeah." And then he didn't own. I didn't deny it or anything. Yeah, listen. I have been saying ever since the Butler, Pennsylvania thing, ever since the assassination attempt at Trump's golf course, since that guy raided the that what is it called? The like White House Correspondents' Dinner and stuff like that. That look, people, these assassination attempts, they're real. They aren't fake. They're not bullshit or whatever. And people will point out that, well, Trump would never stand up against live fire like that, and or why would he say fight, fight, fight instead of just hiding and everything? And I was like, look, that's right. Come on, look. Sometimes people just do brave things, even idiots. And then this happens, like, ooh, this is kind of a crack in my armor here. This is not a brave thing at all. This is, and the cowardice is one thing, because, I mean, saying it's cowardice to avoid a threat isn't really fair. Like, avoiding a threat is a smart thing to do, but sacrificing everybody else, that is, there is no reason you had to do that. None whatsoever. You could have, you could have,
you could have done whatever to like negate this threat, and you decided that your best plan of action was to use the Secretary of State, your own press secretary, and random fucking journalists as a decoy that could get blown out of the sky instead of you. Like, oh my God.
And I saw that, so Caroline Leavitt, she had a baby a little while ago, and she worked through it. Like, she worked through having the baby. She got pregnant and went on maternity leave to have a second baby. I think she had it. And then after the leave, she just decides to quit. And like, that's weird. After all that work, after everything she went through, like, she actually, like, commendable, I guess you could say, to a large extent, worked a lot through having these kids, only to just at the last second say, actually, I don't want to work anymore. All that time I spent, I'm done. That kind of maybe leads some credence to the fact that maybe she was insulted by it. I saw some clip people were sharing. It said, like, I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, John, but it's like heated exchange between Caroline Leavitt and some other.
Heated at all. In fact, it looked like Trump was on the phone and Caroline was talking to the person next to him. That was very confusing to me.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I kept seeing this pop up. It's like, oh my God, this is the day before she quit. Look at this heated exchange. And they're having this calm conversation, like 3 feet away from each other, maybe leaning in every now and then. No one was screaming, no one was pointing. I hate that. I hate when people sensationalize nothing stories. Like, what am I supposed to get from this? Even if they were screaming, it doesn't tell me anything. But yeah, thank you.
So Stevie's cool says hello. Hello, Stevie is cool. Nice to have you here. Kyle wanted to address this. Said, do you think they would kill the Orange Man and say Iran did it solely to get us deeper into the conflict, they being Israel? And the answer, I like the train of thought there. The answer is no, because J.D. Vance would become president, and J.D. Vance, not a fan, not a fan of the Iran war, not a fan of Israel. That would not that Israel makes all the best plays for themselves, but that would definitely be way too much of a risk on way too high of a stage to bother doing. Mark, yeah, it leaked. Yeah, so someone knew about it in order to leak it. Like, again, like, this is yeah, like people found out about it and the damage is done. And you're saying it's silly, it's not his plan. Secret Service made the plan. Last I checked, Mark, I could be wrong about this. The Secret Service works for the president, not the other way around. Donald Trump could have said, no, we're not doing a decoy plane. That's staying here. We are being secure and safe if this is actually a threat. And I'm not leaving everyone here to potentially get killed in this fucking attack. He could have said that. And the Secret Service would have listened to him. He chose not to. Like, again, yeah, I agree with you. It probably wasn't Trump's plan. He didn't go, let's put Marco Rubio on the decoy plane. But, like, he didn't say no to that plan. Like,
So I know Mark's going to come back with this, so I'll say it before he does, that technically, the Secret Service can overrule the president. They can. They did on January 6th. Yeah, they did on January 6th. You remember the stories when Trump wanted to go back to the crowd and the Secret Service says, no, we're not. And like, he tried reaching for the steering wheel, but they wouldn't let him do it. So in an event when the president's safety is at risk and they think the president is making bad judgment, they can overrule him. And that extends till after he's president too. Like, presidents can't drive cars. I don't know if you guys knew that, but like, the president can't. It's like they still can't. So, but I mean, Trump's never
probably a good public safety.
Good public safety, yeah. But I mean, as we know, Trump isn't the best at following rules anyway. So who gives a fuck? I don't know. But it just
I feel like he could have at least overridden the decoy plane part of it.
Plane.
You cannot get on that plane. I don't think they have the authority to say we must put the Secretary of State on this plate as a
Yeah.
decoy. I don't think, like, I could be wrong. I'm not an expert on this. I don't think the Secret Service has the authority to use the Secretary of State as a decoy and innocent civilians. Like, I don't think that they can do that.
What an evil ass organization, man. A fun tip for you guys. Do you guys know the president who created the Secret Service? And the president who created the Secret Service was Abraham Lincoln, which I find to be very funny. It is one of my favorite, which is super funny that Abraham Lincoln started it. Although to be fair to Lincoln, at the time the Secret Service were not presidential bodyguards. The Secret Service started out in the Department of Treasury. In fact, they still were until very recently. They're part of the Department of Treasury. Yeah, they were called the Secret Service because they were looking around like in secret for counterfeit money. They were there just to check for counterfeit money and like develop task force for it and everything. And somehow they ended up becoming presidential bodyguards. But anyway, but speaking of the president, to answer a question you asked like 10 minutes ago, who would be like Marco Rubio? Like, would Rubio be the nominee for the Republicans? Like, would he have a good shot at it? Like him or JD Vance? I think JD Vance has a much better shot of being the nominee than Marco Rubio. Not only because JD's the vice president, but Marco Rubio, I think, is the most competent politician in Trump's inner circle. Like Marco Rubio is like just straight up a good politician. He's good at his job. And he's effective. Like he's in the vein of like your normal style, like Ron DeSantis type Republican or whatever, which is why I know he has no shot. Someone like Marco Rubio, after you've had Donald Trump for 10 years and you've had the Trump sycophants, you've had the Trump media, you've had the crypto shit and everything, you've had the insanity that is just fed through the Republican Party for over a decade. Someone like Marco Rubio is not going to get you hard. It's not going to work. Like Marco Rubio, they're saying they're talking like it's 2004. It's going to bore every single one of them. Now, JD is not going to be Donald Trump either, but he's a lot closer. I think that he would have, he has his finger on the pulse. Like, JD Vance has just given up all his morals and shit. It's so funny reading JD Vance posts from years ago talking about Donald Trump and how this guy's a cancer on society. I can't believe Republicans falling for this guy, and now seeing him fall in line because he's seen the writing on the wall. Like he knows what he has to say. Marco Rubio still, tries to be a normal guy, but I think JD's just gonna. Now, that's no guarantee that either one of them are gonna win it, but I like JD's chances better than Marco Rubio's.
Yeah, so here's the thing, TJ. I think Marco Rubio, if I was trying to make the positive case for him being a viable candidate, it's very strong. He is, as you just said, the most competent politician in Trump's inner circle. So he gets the MAGA stamp of approval with the crazies, theoretically. And he is a competent politician. So the Republicans that are looking to move past the MAGA era can look to him to kind of bridge the gap between them. The issue, it's kind of like one of those prospects where your team drafted them in the 7th round and they're like an elite athlete and they did all this stuff. And you're like, why isn't this guy, why was he a 7th round draft pick? And then you watch him play and you're like, oh, that's why. That's how I feel about Marco Rubio, where like, yeah, it makes sense, but then you'll watch him talk and he just is a spineless, he just spineless coward, and someone who you can just look at a glance and see they're a spineless coward is never going to be the president of the United States. It's just, you need to have some sort of aura, some sort of X factor. You need to make people feel like they are safe just by your presence. And he's maybe, like you said, JD Vance is like reversed all of his morals, and that's fine. That's actually probably good for the Republican nomination. But Rubio is a punching bag for Donald Trump, a sycophant, an obvious beta cuck to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has insulted Rubio, insulted his family. He takes shots at him all the time. No one who's a Trump fan can take Marco Rubio seriously. And that's going to sink him right there. Like just that. Forget the fact that he can't do a fucking rebuttal without fucking shaking and taking a gun. Do you know how many times that ad? I would just run that.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
I add time everywhere and just put that rebuttal where he's drinking the thing of water. That'll be more damaging than any attack ad you could possibly put against him. And he's not that guy. That was the moment. That was his moment. And from then on out, he was never going to be the president. That's it. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen.
I forgot about that.
Against Marco Rubio.
Look, this is going to be more gender theory here because, look, so there are some realities about gender dynamics that are uncomfortable to say out loud, but they're just true, okay? And, or true in enough cases that it's generally true. And one of the things that is reflected in like all the data is that when women are looking for romantic partners, leadership skills and competence are very high on the list. Like if you have a guy who has strong leadership skills and he seems to be competent at what he does, that means a fucking lot. Now, it's not that men want partners who are incompetent, but it's lower on the list. We all know what number one is. And so this is just kind of how it is. And this also reflects in like politicians. And that we want our politicians to be competent. We want them to have leadership skills. We want them to act and present themselves as someone you can trust. Someone who you can think, all right, if I need a problem solved and shit hits the fan, I need to make sure that this person is Batman. This person can solve any problem that comes in front of them. So when there's a small crack in that armor, like I suppose like when women say they get the ick from stuff, like trying to catch a loose ping pong ball and you can't quite get it. They're like, oh, that's kind of weird. That doesn't look super masculine and competent. And look, it's just true. Like Marco Rubio, for those who wonder what we're talking about, Marco Rubio did the rebuttal response to the State of the Union address for the Democrats, and the Republicans get the response to Marco Rubio. And I guess he didn't know the camera was on just yet, but he reached for a bottle of water and he tried to reach for the bottle while looking at the camera. And it was all awkward and off center, and he was shaking the bottle trying to drink from it, and it looked super weird and awkward and everything. That doesn't have anything to do with his abilities as a politician. People still remember it. They still remember it. It gave people the ick, and John's right. Oh, here we go. All right, here we go.
Just watch this. Again, if anyone is doubting me right now, I want you to watch this and then tell me with a straight fucking face that you think this guy can win a Democratic election for the President of the United States. Here we go.
Continues to be indispensable to the goal of global liberty, property, and safeguarding human rights.
It's a dry ass mouth.
The world is a better place when America is the strongest nation on earth. But we can't remain powerful if we don't have an economy that can afford it. In the short time that I've been here in Washington, nothing has frustrated me more than false choices like the one the president laid out tonight. The choice isn't just between big government or big business. What we need is an accountable, efficient, and effective government that allows small and new businesses to create more middle-class jobs.
And to be clear with everyone, that was not the only time he did that. He did that multiple times during his rebuttal. So TJ, as our resident expert on not being able to talk properly while on a live
nice.
What did you? How did you feel watching that?
Yeah, well, that was a long time ago. I was remember thinking, that's too bad. Actually, that was my first thought was, that's too bad. Because we've all been there. You've been making a speech. But then again, he just handled it so improperly. Like, if your mouth is dry or whatever, you're on live TV, you're like, fuck it, it's not getting any less dry. You just turn, walk, drink, talk. That would have been so much better. That would have been so much better, but he got nervous, And I guess maybe that's something you could read from it. That he, under pressure, he cracked, and he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to comport himself professionally. I guess it does tell you that.
That's the guy you want in the Situation Room? That's the guy? God forbid that there's not enough water in the fucking Situation Room. We're going to lose a war. Like that.
Yeah,
that's...
like Donald Trump would never have done that. Donald Trump would have been like, I'm thirsty as fuck. Someone give me some water. And he didn't take it. That's what Trump would have done.
Hey, some water, and then and that would be it. And like that is what wins elections. It's not policy. It's not any of the things that we generally talk about here because we're all in this. We're all like these are the things we talk about every day. None of it fucking matters. None of it matters. It's all vibes, and that is a vibes killer right there. Like TJ said, it gives you the ick. I will never trust that man with the nuclear codes. Just it'll never happen.
And real quick, I don't remember what comment. I think Mark left. I'm pretty sure it was Mark, but Mark said that I mentioned that we both mentioned that Rubio was the most competent politician, and that they said that, well, maybe after Trump, stability and competence will be what the people are looking for. That could very well be the case, because there's a good chance the Trump coalition just doesn't show up at all, and the boring ass Republicans may remain behind. But if that is the case, my money would be surprisingly, after everything I said earlier, this is contradictory, Nikki Haley, actually. That after everything I said about women not being able to win, because Nikki Haley does have the voice. Nikki Haley does sound like a corporate CEO, but again, she's a lot older than AOC. I think AOC's problem is that she's too young. I think that
be wonderful. It's the general against two women.
Oh, yes, awesome.
That would actually be perfect. I also think the Republicans should nominate Nikki Haley. If I'm trying to get the Republicans to win, I think Nikki Haley, that should be the leadership of the party post-Trump. Like, that is the direction the party should head. Will they do it? Who fucking knows?
Probably not.
But who knows? So TJ, I'll be remiss if we don't pivot at this very moment, because Colby said Marcos Rubio's aura was like a lady baller.
Oh God, I can't wait.
Episode, and we must give ourselves time to finish.
God damn.
About the WNBA. I will let you introduce the topic.
All right, so I had a few clips here where our time is kind of short because we're having so much fun. But Tuesday, before I was betrayed by my own body, we were talking about Enes Kanter, and I'm dead naming him, by the way. I know his name is Enes Freedom, but that's stupid. It's stupid, okay? I'm not doing that, man. It's not going to happen. It's like, just like I'm not going to refer to Twitter as X. Hey, if you give yourself a new name and it sucks, I'm dead naming you, all right? Like that goes to everyone, all right? So Enes Kanter,
that one I'm using. That one's fucking fantastic.
That's cool. That's cool.
It works.
Yeah. It went like Enes Kanter is already a cool name. Like I like saying it. I like saying Enes Kanter. Enes Freedom. Like, God, it's awful. Anyway, it's so stupid. How much do you want to suck right wing dick, man? Like how badly do you want to do this? Anyway. So Enes Kanter has been a right wing hack for years now, and he and Royce White, who's even funnier as a NBA player and everything, but they have both announced that they are going to, they have both declared for the WNBA draft, because the rules of the WNBA just says only women can play in the WNBA with no further clarifications. So they said, well, it's not the female National Basketball Association. It is the Women's National Basketball Association. So if all you need to say that you're to be a woman is to declare that you are one, then I qualify. And this has caused like a firestorm and everything. And I think I said this on Tuesday. I don't know if I had enough energy, but I am amazed the WNBA did not have a protocol for this. I still cannot believe it, man. And I've read like a lot about this where because I find it kind of inexcusable. Like, these guys are dicks, they're assholes, they're being jerks, whatever. But the WNBA, I would be embarrassed if I was the commissioner of WNBA and I didn't have an obvious rule for this, because international women's basketball has rules for trans players. They're like, hey, you need to have so many years of hormone therapy, you need to transition. Like, maybe there's rules. I don't know if there's rules on if your transition was before or after puberty. I don't know, but they have rules on this shit. And then college basketball, Division I college basketball doesn't allow, at least now, it doesn't allow trans women to play at all. Every state has rules on trans girls playing. But the NBA, like the premier women's basketball league in the country, said, it's never been a problem before. Why bother now? Well, it's a fucking problem now. Like I would be ashamed. It shouldn't take Enes Kanter and Royce White for you to get your act together. You shouldn't have been caught with your I would say your pants down. It's a bad analogy. You should have been caught flat-footed. You should have been caught flat-footed on this. What do you think, John? I don't hear enough people criticizing WNBA on this. I guess I get why, But this problem did not have to happen. This could have been addressed. This wasn't an unforeseeable issue, and they just kind of let it go. I find that kind of weird.
Yeah, you're right. Like I'm actually okay with the rules as is. Like I don't know. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I don't really care. But to not have a PR strategy for this obvious attack that was always going to happen is pretty embarrassing for the league. Not that I even give a shit about that. Like again, all of this doesn't matter. In fact, I'm someone, TJ. I have taken heat from people on the left by saying, guys, they have a point. It's kind of ridiculous for someone who only identifies as a woman to play in women's sports. It doesn't really make sense because sports are segregated, not based on gender, but based on biological sex. And yes, you can make arguments about how that is not a black and white distinction. And that's why I say I agree. The government shouldn't be involved in this. This should be handled by each individual league as they see fit within their own community. And that is the way that these things should be done. There is no universal black and white answer for all sports in the entire world. It needs to be handled on a case-by-case basis. That being said, it's also kind of stupid to just say, yeah, anyone who identifies as a woman should be able to play in the WNBA because that's obviously stupid. Now, here's the thing with this specific situation, TJ. I don't think they could make the team. I do not think for like 40-plus-year-old Enes Kanter, it would be who hasn't played basketball in God knows how long, would be able to make the WNBA. And the reason that I say this is because there are plenty of men's professional leagues that would pay Enes Kanter money to play basketball for them if he doesn't want to play the fucking sport, bro. And if he did, he'd be playing. And someone who doesn't want to play the fucking sport, I don't care how much taller you are than these girls, it's not going to fucking work. It just isn't. And he's going to be a total liability on fucking defense because he can't move anymore. And he's just going to get shredded up. It doesn't matter how much he scores in the post efficiently. I don't think he would make a team, even if he tried. I would implore the WNBA to call his bluff and to say, come do a public televised tryout for the team and see how it goes. That would be the best strategy, but they'd have to be damn sure that he wouldn't be able to.
John, I don't think I've disagreed with you more on an issue ever in all these years. John, if Enes Kanter played in the WNBA, he would average 65 points a game. I
don't know about that, TJ.
John, listen, Enes Kanter is 34 years old. He is 34.
Wait, he's 34?
He's 34. He's 6'10". No, and like 250 pounds or something like that. The guy would like
okay. I thought he was much older.
He averaged 11 points a game and like a dozen-year NBA career. He is not a joke basketball player. Like
I was having the wrong idea of who Enes Kanter was.
Oh boy, it's just
forget everything I just said.
Okay, like he would be the strongest, tallest, and fastest player every fucking game he played. It would be a massacre. He'd be wheelchair. And listen, Royce White, by the way, listen, it's just
he wouldn't make a team because he can't get home.
No, I disagree with Royce White too. Because look, like you can't teach
he only plays home games, TJ. They're gonna
that would be the problem with Royce White. Royce White couldn't play because he's fucked up in the head. Like he can't fly on a plane and shit. I can't believe anybody. I looked up the stats on these guys before the show started, and Royce White, he was drafted like 16th, man. Like he was a first round draft pick. He was, and I was like, wow. And they knew about his psychological issues going into it. And they said, oh, we're still going to take a chance on it. Like, that's how talented he was at basketball. And he just fucked it up, threw it away because he couldn't fly on a plane. I don't know how that happened. But so, yeah, Royce White wouldn't have a shot at making the league because you got to travel to play or whatever. But yeah, I what you said earlier, this was getting me a lot too, is I've seen a lot of excuses being made for the WNBA. I think it's just as I do think it's important because our instinct is to dismiss this as the bigotry that it is, but when they're right, they're right. Okay, I have to admit that if you say that a woman is anyone who identifies as a woman, that means you cannot prove someone's lying about that. We know they are, but it's not about what you know, it's about what you can prove. And you cannot prove they're lying. So if they say, well, I'm a woman now, let me in, you can't say, we don't believe you. Well, how the fuck do you know? Who are you to say I'm not a woman? Unless maybe there's a protocol in there, because I saw some conservatives say this right before the show, and I hadn't thought, because I was wondering, all right, what's your end game here? So let's say the WNBA does come out finally with a transgender policy. You don't want that. You still don't want that. Like you don't. That's not a win for you. But then I heard, I wish I remember who it was. Some conservative saying, look, WNBA just admits that you're testing for sex and not gender. Just admit it. And I was like, that's true. That's exactly what they're doing. It's exactly what they're doing. They are not testing for for gender, they're testing for sex. So they're not going to change it to the female National Basketball Association or anything like that. But look, it's fine to just say it. And like my problem with Republicans is that they're trying to make this like a state issue, that the federal government needs to get involved with these sports. Like, no, just let the sports handle themselves the way they want to handle themselves. And what I like about this, though, even when someone's terrible, I do got to admit, I love seeing people have fun. I do. And I hate to admit it, but Royce White here, Royce White's a fucking loser. Royce White is a fucking loser. He is, he washed out the NBA in just a few games. John and I has scored as many points in the NBA as Royce White has. And he's running for office all of the time. He lost his Senate race a couple years ago. He ran for the Republican primary this year, got crushed by Michelle Tafoya. I don't know if you remember Michelle Tafoya, John, but she used to be a sideline reporter for like the NFL. And now, as of a few days ago, he's running for president. He's just a professional candidate. That's all he does. And I saw this clip of him talking about declaring for the WNBA, and I kind of love it.
Earlier this week, I made the announcement. I'm transgender. I'm a woman. I identify as sometimes identifying as a woman for purposes of basketball, professional basketball. So I'll be declaring for the WNBA draft in 2027 as well. I mean, I think I'd be unstoppable. But I'm a team first guy. I'm a pass.
I love that he fucked up his gender in his own announcement. That's just what I want to show. That it's like, yeah, I'm a woman now, and I'm a team first guy. I was like, oh man, come on, this is your big day, Royce.
He's unstoppable.
I know,
unstoppable by anyone who isn't employed by the TSA.
So great. So yeah, I wish these guys all the best. It's gonna be fun. I'm interested to see what they end up doing with the WNBA, but my whole issue is that this didn't have to happen. This didn't have to happen at all. I just I don't know. It's annoying.
Yeah.
Man, there's no time left. Shit.
I know.
God damn it.
You have more clips you want to play?
I did, but it's kind of like, I don't know if it's worth it. I just was going to talk about Royce White. This is like a minute and a half, but fuck it, we ball. But this is Royce White debating Isaiah Martin. And this is just to show how just fucking stupid Royce White is. I guess he's no dumber than your average right-wing hack, but this is him talking about NATO. Let me see. I just love this clip.
Spain's privilege, and it is a privilege granted to them by America, and how much they do or don't spend on their militaries, because NATO subsidizes Spain's military defense, which is subsidized by America. We subsidize the entire European Union's defense to a substantial margin, an increase, which is why a lot of America firsters wanted us out of NATO, which Democrats defend vehemently. They defend
NATO.
You want to get out of NATO? Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
How does NATO work, Royce?
Right now, it works that it's breaking the American people's back, a working class of a bunch of Europeans.
How does it work, Royce?
They're giving their continent and their countries away to foreign invaders the same way Democrats want to do here.
Can you point to me where
tell you how it works.
The United States it has a line item for NATO Spain's defense? Where is that in the federal budget? Are you saying that the American taxpayers do not fund NATO? I asked you a question.
I'm asking you.
I asked you a question.
Why don't y'all answer each other's question? Why don't y'all answer each other's question?
Not even start from the same reality. If you don't accept that America subsidizes NATO, then you're not even dealing in reality.
How does NATO work? I don't think you understand how
America
NATO works.
subsidize NATO.
What does that mean?
Does America put in the lion's share of the funding for NATO?
You think there's
Isaiah, that is a direct question. Does America put in line share money to NATO? That is a direct question.
No, because I don't think that Royce understands how NATO works.
All right, well, tell us.
Look, NATO means that every country has their direct investment that they spend on their own military for their own defense. The 2% target for defense spending that these countries have, it's not like America is paying that. That's saying that you want the United Kingdom, you want France, you want our NATO allies to go and spend that on their own defense. Royce, you seem to believe that there is a line item in the United States budget for Spain's defense.
I just wanted to point that out here because for two things. One, I don't know if you've seen an interview with Royce White and the clip we just played. He has that same creepy black background every time, like he's a James Bond villain every fucking time. And he does one of my favorite things that I see politicians do when they screech and yell about an issue, but don't know a fucking thing about it. Like he went into that interview saying, America pays too much into NATO. I'm going to harp on that. Then ask the simple fucking question, Royce, how does NATO work? Caught immediately. So
what does NATO stand for?
What does NATO stand for, Royce? How long has NATO been around? It's like, can you name another country in NATO besides the United States and Spain? Just like, I love this. Like, I want to see more of Royce White in my life. Like, the more I see of this guy, the better, because he cracks me up every time. So yeah. All right. How do we want to end? What's the last one we want to talk about here, John?
I want to go back to WNBA. First of all, Mark said I was hilarious for my joke about the TSA. Thank you. I also thought
that was great.
A good one. But no, I did want to say because Kyle brings a point here. That there are many sports that are segregated based on sex because women beat men and men get upset about losing to a woman. Kyle, I've heard that.
What
before.
Sport?
Which
what
ones?
Sport?
What?
I've never heard this.
That is untrue. I'm sure there's some sport out there that maybe that is the case. Maybe gymnastics would be one if we're calling the women's rules. Floor routine.
Gymnastics.
Sure women would beat men. I could be wrong. It all depends on what you're doing. I don't know.
Yes, women's gymnastics are different than men's gymnastics. Yeah. They're completely different. So exactly. Yeah, if men competed in women's gymnastics, sure, men would get slaughtered. But if women competed in men's, women aren't doing the rings, right? It's not going to happen. Okay,
get their ass kicked. If men had to do
exactly. So yeah, it's not the same. Yeah,
I don't know. But it says for the purpose of daily life, gender is a person who accepts as a woman and who identifies as a woman for the first sports. Gender is different, e.g., hormone levels. And it's yes, that is the common sense. I don't know why no one takes the common sense ground on this issue. It baffles me because that's all the WNBA has to do. They just have to bite the bullet on that and say, yeah, no, we test for biological sex for the purposes of competition. And there's this crazy, loud, ferocious contingent of people on the left who refuse to accept that sports are segregated by biological sex for a very valid reason. It's insane to me. As someone who I compete in a sport that is segregated by sex and weight class, but we train together. I train with women. We train together. I have women I coach. I have a trans boy who would compete in the women's division because yes, they're just socially transitioned. They're going to compete with people who have the similar body types to themselves. And that's what makes sense. That is why they are segregated, so there can be higher parity competition for women. Because if they were just placed with the men, they're not going to fucking compete. We see that in wrestling right now. Girls wrestling is the fastest growing sport in the country because there's a lot of girls who would have done it, turns out, if there was a girls' team, but they had to compete with the boys, and that fucking sucks because they're naturally disadvantaged, and it sucks to work just as hard as someone and just lose because of biological predisposition. That's why they exist, in order to grow these sports and allow women more opportunities to compete. And if you pretend like that isn't the case, it ruins everything. There needs to be very strict rules for these things, just like segregation by weight class. It would suck if I didn't compete.
Yes.
200 pounds. It would fucking suck. I probably would not compete in my sport if I had to do that. And it has to be fucking strict. If I get on that scale and I'm 0.1 pound overweight, I don't make the fucking cut because it has to be black and white strict. That's how sports works. And I feel like all of the people on the left who are militant about this, they don't don't understand sports. They just don't. And I don't understand why the rest of the left is so afraid to just be like, no, there's a common sense answer here. Just fucking go with it. That there's a winning answer. Sports are segregated by sex, not on gender. There are some in between cases that need to be handled on a case-by-case basis. Other than that, that is the way we're doing it. Women are still women. Trans women are still women because that is gender, which is a different thing than sex. It's not that fucking hard.
It's not. It's not. I can't believe like this is something that we've been. Also, Kyle wrote it. So this is funny, Kyle. Kyle says that there were a few races where women won silver and men freaked out. Now, this I have not heard. I'd love to know what kind of race that was because when Kyle brought this up that there was some races or some sexes some sports that were segregated because men were afraid of losing to women. I remember this book that was written years ago that this guy made a tour, and he was talking about how men and women are actually not, or women are not physically disadvantaged to men. As okay, that's ridiculous. And I'm reading it, and he says, well, because women are more flexible. And it's like, okay, yeah, we know that. Okay, like that's not what people mean when they talk about that. Like maybe there's like some niche areas where women will outperform men. And he says that in some sports, women actually perform better. Females perform better than males. For example, not joking, John. This was his example in a 100-mile race. Women could beat men. I say, okay, that's not a sport. Who gives a fuck? A 100-mile race. I don't think that sport is taking off anytime soon.
Let the men and women compete together in that. They're all fucking crazy people.
Fine. Yes. Yes. If the 100-mile race league breaks out and you want to make that co-ed, sure. I'm not going to be upset about it.
By the way. Long distance running
is
a sport.
Yeah, go for it. But like any race you can name. Oh, look, there you go. Kyle wrote, it's called ultra marathon running. All right. Yeah. Any other race you can name, it is not a competition. 100 meter, what is it? 1400 meter, the 2 mile in the Army, we ran 2 miles. The men and women standards are different. That in order for me to max my 2-mile run, I needed to run 2 miles in like 13 minutes and 10 seconds. It is very rare to find a woman who can run 2 miles in 13 minutes. It wouldn't be fair to give her that. So yeah, I'm sure in an 85-mile race, yeah, maybe that's fine. But we're talking about 99% of the races you can name here. So yeah. And, wait a minute, Colby.
Just to put a point on that, it's insulting to the thousands, millions of female athletes out there who do try their hardest to compete and don't run as fast as the men. Like track. Yeah. We have the times. They aren't as fast.
Yeah, we know. Yes. Yeah, they aren't as fast.
Female athletes do not run as fast. They do not lift as much. They just don't. Are you saying it's because they don't practice hard enough? They don't train as hard? Like, is that the reason if it's not their sex? Because I don't see. It's just a fucking insult in my mind. But continue, Colby.
And Hugh Jass wrote, are you taking into account the effects of years of hormone replacement? So here's the thing. The hormone replacement isn't the only issue, right? Because so if you transition from male to female post-puberty, so you take your hormones, you're going to lose a lot of muscle mass. You're going to lose bone density. You're not going to lose your frame. That's not going anywhere, okay? You're not going to get any physically smaller from the way your hips aren't going to shrink, or your hips aren't going to get more broad. You're going to have a lot of advantages that you're going to have torque. You're going to have reach that it's just not possible for most women to ever happen. So yeah, when people say that, oh, there's no difference. Of course there is, man. Of course there is. That's why rules need to be set in place. The WNBA just saying, oh, we're not going to make it because all of our feeder pool. I've heard this argument too. Well, all the pools that feed into the WNBA already have rules, so they didn't need one. Fucking insane. I can't believe I have people commenting this on my videos, because they would be saying, you can't compete. You can't go to high school past a certain age. That once you're 21 or 22 or something, the state will no longer give you a high school diploma. You have to go get a GED or something like that. That would be like high school sports saying, we're not going to have a rule about how old you can be to play high school sports because all of our feeder pools have rules. So it would never happen. Why care? You don't need to be this woke, people. You can just admit oh god, I sound like a fucking conservative here. I fucking hate that, man. You guys are oh, here we go, Mark, of course. There's a common sense answer, and yet the left doesn't want to say it. I'm so surprised. All right, fine. You win this one, Mark. You win this one.
There's also a common sense answer to who won the 2020 election, but not a single Republican will ever say it out loud.
Maybe Mark would. I feel like
Mark would. I believe Mark would.
He might be the only one. He might be the only one. Yeah.
Republicans will for some reason. It's very strange. And that one seems to be a little bit more pertinent to our national governance than fucking women in sports. But what do I know? I will say, since we're talking about sports that women would be better at than men, I don't know if they'd be better, but I do believe that they'd get better ratings for a Rip t-shirt. I'll put it that way.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Oh, I forgot to say, I won't be here next week. A hell of a time to drop you. I'll be in Denver, Colorado all week. I'll be out of town, so I won't be able to do the show, guys. But Mark commented that this is a fun show. This is a great show. I really enjoyed it. This has been pretty good.
It's that too. Like the last Thursday show was also excellent. So I'm disappointed on some days. I'm like, okay, I could use a break. This one, I'm like, oh, I'm disappointed we're not going to be here next week. So no shows next week. We will be back on TikTok on Tuesday, the 25th, and back here on YouTube on the 27th. Until then, see you guys later.
Catch you later. All right. So